I think that's going to be working. Yeah, I think that's working. Check us out. We're live. We're live. The modern internet, isn't it amazing? Hello. This is slightly unusual. We are putting this out for the first time ever on like cross-platform, multi-channel, Uber, everywhere, everything kind of thing. Just because we want to raise awareness. We're going to do these on a weekly basis. But before I go on, I should introduce who I've got with me. I've got over there Dan Maybe. How you doing, Dan?
Hello. Hi, I'm very good. Very good. Thanks, Nathan. Yes, great to be doing this again.
Yeah. And then down there, it's so easy to get this wrong. Just totally the wrong way around. We've got Carol. She's only written Carol, but this is Carol Ollinger. How you doing, Carol? You all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Thanks. And I just noticed that I could have written a little bit more.
Oh, it's okay. We're going to learn, aren't we?
Exactly. First try.
Yeah. Andrew Palmer says, speak. Yeah, sorry, Andrew. We clearly had a bit of a whoopsie at the beginning, but we'll get better. We'll improve. So, yeah, the point of this is really we're going to try and do, we have a project next year, which is fast approaching. We've only got about 13 days until next year arrives. And then sooner than can be imagined during the course of next year, we have a project going on. And I'm going to put it up on the screen if I can find it. There it is. This is a URL called head2.org. And where the three of us, plus some other people, are going to be going on a bit of a bike ride. And we figured that the more people that knew about this, the better. And what better way of letting people know about what this project is than by doing a little stream each week. So maybe we'll be a bit longer this week, but the idea is to come on each week about 10 minutes and give you a bit of a status update, a bit of a progress report. Because this is not like a webinar. This is not like a normal WordPressy thing where it kind of has a short shelf life. This is a project that we're doing from now until the moment it's finished, which will be at the beginning of WordCamp Europe in 2020, held in Portugal. And there's a lot of progress to be made. There's a lot of changes to be made. There's a lot of adaptations to my life, Dan's life, and Carol's life that need to take place. And they're pretty seismic, actually. And we felt that it would be good for people like you, whoever you are watching this, listening to it, whenever you're hearing it, to know what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I'm going to shut up and let somebody else take over. So maybe Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you, and so that you can tell us what on earth is this, what inspired it, and so on.
Absolutely, yes, yeah, thank you. The Head2 project was inspired really by Marcel Bootsman, by his incredible walk from his hometown through to the WordCamp Europe 2019 venue this year. So he undertook the walk and raised funds for Donate WC, which was a fantastic initiative, a fantastic way of raising awareness and funds for the project. And whilst we were at WordCamp Europe as a team this year, we sat down collectively and started brainstorming and saying, look, how can we need to, in this day and age, it's about raising awareness of a charity. Fundraising can be a little bit challenging. And so we wanted to find ways to both fundraise and raise awareness of WP&Up. And I threw out the idea of getting on a bike and riding from Germany to Portugal. That evolved, and that has evolved into this, and evolved into this thing which is actually happening. And it's an exciting project. I mean, I think, Carol, we're about 3,200 kilometers, I think, at the moment in terms of the total distance.
Almost 3,167. Yeah.
I wonder how far that would be if you did it in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
That
would get you.
Yeah, we should do that.
It's a long way.
A straight line through tunnels.
yeah, but it is a really long way. And Carol, that line on the chart is heinously sort of out of date, isn't it? That graphic doesn't kind of represent what we're doing and where we're going. But you've been involved very much over the last couple of months planning out the actual route, because you can't just show up in Berlin and then say, let's go to Portugal on a bike. Well, you could, but I think the chances of you doing it successfully are significantly less than if you actually planned it. So what have you done? How have you organized the last few months, and where are we going more specifically?
Yeah, I spent many hours on a planning software. So I used Komoot because this is what I was used to, because I use it personally for my private bike rides as well. And so we were, of course, it's not going to be a straight line. That would be too easy. I mean, it would only be like 2,500 kilometers, so everybody can do that easily. So we wanted to include as many cities and WordPress communities that we knew of that were on our way in the countries, in the 6 countries that we're going to pass through. So it's going to be Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Spain, and obviously Portugal. And then I was trying to connect the dots, like where are active meetups, where are communities we know of, and where are also interesting spots on the way. So for example, it is kind of more interesting to travel on a bike through Spain if you're doing this on the very famous Camino Frances, which is one of the most popular and well-known pilgrim routes that you can find in the world. So we're going to include that into our tour. And yeah, also, of course, which is the most important criteria, it is safety. So you have to check which ways are easy to take on a bike and which ones might be more dangerous or more of a challenge. Like there's alpine routes on our way, which I try to avoid, of course. So yeah, we're gonna pass the 6 countries, and we're hopefully gonna arrive safe and sane in Portugal for Contributor Day.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long way, and we, you know, if you've ever come across this project before, we've been talking about it for a few months. But WP and Up, who is the primary mover behind this, WP and Up was organised by Dan. They've had quite a lot on over the last few months, and so we felt that this project, whilst important, kind of needed to go in second place until, well, basically about now. We've had various summits and different fundraising events on. And so that's what this is all about, really. It's going to be like a little weekly meetup where we talk through our progress. And let's be honest, we're not trying to like pull the wool over anybody's eyes. We're hoping that if we engage with you lot and put out little bits of content like this, you will become a little bit more intrigued about what we're doing, you know, a little bit interested, a little bit, more inspired to check out what the project is about and what we're doing. And hopefully at some point during the next 4 or 5 months, you will locate that little black donate button at the bottom. And perhaps even, you know, add a few dollars. Yeah, there you go, Carol. Add a few dollars to the project, because WP and Up is a worthwhile charity. No doubt we'll get onto that more on another event like this in a week's time. But the idea is we're going to do these little 10-minute slots each and every week, highlighting the progress that we've made during the previous week, the ups and the downs, because progress doesn't work in one direction. As we all know, when we're going to be going up these hills, we go up and that's hard, and then we come down and hopefully it's a bit easier. But I just thought I might kick off by telling you what I have been doing, so that we've got some sort of baseline, and then we can go to Dan and go to Carol. I have basically no experience riding a bike. I've ridden a bike as a child, but I've ridden it over very short distances. I think the longest bike ride I've ever done is the London to Brighton bike ride. I've done that a couple of times. That's about 50, I think it's about 58 miles, something like that. I'm in the middle of my 40s. I've neglected my body because I like the chair, and I like eating food, which is probably not the healthiest food for me. And so the changes that I need to make are fairly considerable. I need to eat differently. I need to exercise for the first time in multiple decades. And to that effect, I've bought this exercise bike, which sits behind me. And I'm currently going through a struggle with the exercise bike. I had a period, bought it in about July, and I had a couple of months where I was really good. And then I sort of fell off the wagon a little bit. And now I'm in a period where I've got to get back on it much more often. So kind of that's where I'm at. I am nowhere near prepared. I'm still too heavy, although I have lost a bit of weight. I haven't got the legs to do it yet. If we were to begin this bike ride tomorrow, I would not be able to finish the first day, in all likelihood. That's the honest truth. So I've got a lot of work to do. And that's what these little things are about. Each week we'll come back and we'll tell you how we're doing. So I've modified my diet. I've bought an exercise bike. I was really good. And then I've become much worse again because of Christmas and family and all that sort of stuff. So, right, that's my honest confession. Dan, it's your go.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a fairly similar story, to be honest. I haven't been on a bike. I mean, the idea of doing this ride was just to completely kind of pull it out of the hat. It wasn't, I wasn't riding prior to it. So my first time on a bike was similar. It was around the July time of this year. So we had the WordCamp in June, and it was on July, get on the bike. And similarly, dived straight in, really enjoying it, doing a lot. Got up to my first 120 kilometer ride, which I was really happy about. Unfortunately, on that ride, I actually got knocked off and actually sustained a back injury from that ride. I actually fractured one of my vertebrae, which was obviously a little challenging when it came to actually getting back on and taking this forward. So I set myself a goal to ride 3,000 kilometers from that period when it started, kind of around July, August time, to the end of this year. Unfortunately, I've dressed woefully under that goal, but I have managed to get back on now. So it's my second week back on the bike since the back injury, which I'm really happy about. I'm about 300 pounds in weight when I started this project, so it's about 135, 140 kilos. So overweight. My fitness levels nowhere near what's needed for a project of this scale. So yeah, I'm completely starting from a point of needing to improve. And that period where I had those couple of months of intensely exercising and actually, spending some time on the bike, it really did impact my physical health well. I'd lost weight and started to feel much fitter in myself, and then unfortunately sustained the injury. And I felt like I've gone backwards again. But it's been really good to get back on the bike and start building upon that and start working forward with this. So it's good. As another, I managed to clock my first 1,000 kilometers since starting today. I ticked over 1,002 kilometers to date this year. So
Nice.
Wow.
2,000 under, but still 1,000 forward.
That's good though. I think you should be impressed with yourself, Dan. And 3,000 was ambitious. Back injury is a complete write-off. What can you do? You've got to just take the doctor's advice and take a back seat, haven't you? So,
Yes,
well done.
yeah.
Oh, I'm nowhere near that. Anyway, I've done my bit. Let's move to Carol.
Yeah, I think this year was the year that I discovered what physical exercise can do for your mental health, because I was never a person that would really say that I like sports. That was really, I always tried something new to lose weight, but I did never enjoy it. I never did it because I had much fun in doing anything I tried. And so this year was for a change, because I started running in May this year, like just to be outside, to have like some kind of activity where I would be able to disconnect, to be outside, to focus more on my body and my health. And the benefits were amazing for me. And then I had also an injury in June. It was a knee injury that wouldn't allow me to run anymore for a certain period of time. And then I was really frustrated, and I felt like, oh my God, I'm losing all my inner balance now, because it was already part of my life and I enjoyed it so much. And then my physiotherapist told me, yeah, you cannot run at the moment, but you could do some cycling. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have a bike. And she said, oh, but you could do it on an exercise bike. And I was like, yeah, well, that's not gonna go to happen. And I'm living in a very hilly area here. And so I thought, okay, if I'm gonna buy a regular bike, that's also not gonna help, because I just don't have the stamina. I don't have I don't have the legs to just cycle around here in this hilly area. And then I just went to a store and they told me, why won't you get an electrical bike? And I was like, okay, I've never tried that. And then I tried the electrical bike and I immediately fell in love. So then I bought a secondhand electrical bike. And my husband also really, really liked it. So he got one too. And that's where we started to make like longer tours, even together with our dogs on our bikes. And at that same period, I heard about that idea to cycle from Berlin to Porto. And I was like, oh my God, this comes at the exact right time. I want to get involved into this project. And yeah, here I am.
Yeah.
So I also made quite a few adapting changes in my life. So I also changed my diet. I'm on a ketogenic diet at the moment, which I really enjoy and which really gives me lots of energy while still eating amazing food, which I actually like. And I almost lost 20 pounds already. And I thanks. And so at the moment, it's I don't have an exercise bike at home, not yet at least. And at the moment, I cannot cycle outside because it's snowing outside and it's really, really cold. But I kept how do you say that? I'm running again, so my knee is completely fine now, and I'm running again. And I accomplished my first 2 5-kilometer runs last week, and I'm going to participate in my first public run on New Year's Eve. So it's going to be a 5-kilometer run, and yeah, I'm doing some gym stuff to build up my muscles, specifically my back muscles. So that's what I'm doing at the moment: running and gym, and I hope to get an exercise bike in the near future as well.
Yeah, that's great. So we've all got different starting points, haven't we? But essentially, I think it's fair to say that none of us, not one of us is really ready. We're not bringing an athletic background to this, or in my case, at least anyway, even any interest in physical exercise whatsoever. So that sounded really ridiculous, but that is actually the truth. So maybe one of the things that we should set out is, going forwards, if we keep these real short, this one's been a little bit longer because we're giving you a bit of background, but if we keep it real short, and one of the things that I want to get out of this is a bit of accountability, like public accountability, not only to Dan and Carol, but also if I say it out loud in front of other people on the internet, then I might actually try a bit harder. So I don't know if you guys want to join me in this, but I'm going to start the ball rolling. I'm going to try and get on that thing and I'm going to try and do 4 hours on it next week. I don't know what that 4 hours is going to look like in terms of difficulty, because you can make it harder and easier. And we're in a free trial period at the moment between the three of us of this app, this sort of cycling, Get Fit for a Cycling Event app that you can purchase online. And so I'm going to commit to trying a few of those. I'm also going to commit to getting back on the food app that I was using. It's called, what is it called? I can't remember. MyFitnessPal.
Oh yeah.
And you can punch in or scan the barcode of most domestic food that you can buy in a supermarket in the UK. And I was doing that for a while, and just the very fact that I was observing what I was eating, I lost over 1 stone in about 4 weeks. But again, I've gone off the wagon. But oddly, I've managed to keep that habit, and that weight continues to drop off, but it's not as rapid. So that's my commitment. When we come back here next week, I should have done 4 hours on that bike, and I should have hopefully a full and complete list of everything that I've eaten, so that I can inspect it and be mocked by the rest of you.
I mean, one of the key focuses for us across this project really was about encouraging, obviously our focus is about raising awareness of both physical and mental health across the WordPress community. But we really wanted to make sure that we were creating creating examples of small changes, lots of small changes to our lives. And it's not a case of you need to massively, drastically change your life to improve your physical health. And that improvement to your physical health will only have a positive impact on your mental health. So it really was, we want to find ways of demonstrating that actually lots of small changes add up to a big change within our lives. So obviously whilst we're undertaking quite a sizable project here, obviously cycling across Europe, over 3,000 kilometers across Europe, we are going to have to ultimately make fairly sizable changes to our lives to enable us to do that. But certainly in these earlier days, it was a case of, let's look at how we can demonstrate lots of small changes, and something like tracking your calorie intake. As you said, there's a lot of evidence out there that demonstrates just by simply undertaking that action will have a positive impact in terms of the reduction of your intake, your calorie intake, and positively impact your physical health.
So Dan, do you want to join us on the commit to, or you don't have to? That's
totally
up to you.
The thing I'm thinking is we've got Christmas.
Yeah.
So we're actually not back here next week, are we? We're going to be back here in 3 weeks' time, aren't we?
That's a good point. Well, I'm still going to commit to doing that each of those 3 weeks. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah.
So just for awareness out there, we obviously have the WPN Up Slack team. So, and anybody's welcome to come and join us there, wpnup.org/Slack. But certainly us as a team across this Head 2 project, we have that kind of accountability internally, don't we, in terms of what we're doing and the ability to contact. But pushing out publicly is something that I'm very keen to do. I've just started a program through Sufferfest that actually has a very fixed training structure to it. So I'm determined to stick to that. This is the one that I've started as a 4-week plan, and it covers both physical health, so looking at cadence, etc., across the ride, but also mental strength, and also has a number of yoga classes. So there's kind of 3 aspects to it. So my accountability, I will stick to that 4-week plan, and share the experience at the end of it.
Okay, sounds great. About you, Carol?
Yeah, my commitment would be that I will continue to run 3 times a week. So I'm gonna have some exercise before having the public run in 2 weeks. And on top of that, like I think I learned today that my gym is going to be closed next week, but then I'm going to do some trampoline at home instead. So I really want to stick to my 5 times sports a week, even through Christmas. And also, and this is going to be the biggest challenge, I'm gonna make an exception of my ketogenic diet, like for one day, like for one meal in one day, and I am gonna pull this through to be to stay on my ketogenic diet during Christmas, except for that one meal. So that's gonna be the biggest challenge. Yeah, but I'm positive I can do that. I spent last week in like half in Zurich visiting friends and half at Europa Park, and we've been visiting Christmas markets and stuff, and I was totally able to eat and even drink stuff that wouldn't affect my my diet, and I'm really proud I managed to do that.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? We're certainly going to be keeping ourselves busy. I'm just going to open up on a different separate tab here. The actual, oh no, I'm not. That's clearly not worked. It is though, head2.org/. Well, why wouldn't that work? That's annoying. I want to. Can I get to the root via a link?
Yeah,
there we go. Just the link at the top. Sorry about that. If you're interested in the actual route, this is generated by the app that we've chosen to do, and it kind of, it's like Google Mappable. It's kind of zoom in, zoom out. You can actually see what we're doing. It would be interesting over the weeks to come. It's taking a little while to load because I'm straining my Mac doing this live. That's what we're actually doing, and each of the little flags represents an evening. So we begin there, end there, have a day off and whatnot, and then you can actually view the full detail where you can see where we're going. So if you're within a small traveling distance of that, it might be nice to catch up with you. I'm struggling to keep it in focus. There we go. Stay. Great. So I guess we'll see you see you in 3 weeks' time. We're just getting the ball rolling. There were some nice comments that came in, actually. It might be nice just to share those. I don't know who this is, but BPH says, that's a huge tour. We did about 1,000 kilometers, 1994, from Germany to Saint Nazaire. So, yeah, thank you for that. Mike Killen wrote that he thought that this all sounded amazing. And then he followed that up with, do it, which is quite nice. Thank you, Mike. And WP Donostia, count with us if we can help. That's great. The best way to keep in touch, I would imagine, would be to join our Slack channel, and we'll be putting these out roughly. Have we committed to Wednesdays? Tuesdays is Tuesdays the day? Is that
I think we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll try and do them, but they'll appear in various playlists on various YouTube channels, I'm sure. So as we figure all this out, we'll we'll get into a rhythm, and hopefully in 3 weeks' time, when we see you next, we'll have some updates, and I'll have been on that. What's that? 12 hours by then, and Dan will have stuck to his 4-week plan, and Carol will have done 5 things a week. So yeah, little changes often make all the difference. That's all I've got. Dan, Carol, do you want to add anything before we go?
No, just if people do want to keep up with what's happening, if you head to wpnup.org, just scroll down a little bit. There is a sign up for your email. Chuck your email details in there. We can keep you updated regularly what's happening across this. And as I mentioned, wpnup.org/Slack is a great place to jump in and help within this project as well. I mean, if you're aware of communities that we maybe want to stop and get involved with, if you are have the ability to volunteer across any of this at all, that's a great place to open up and have those conversations.
Yeah, we'll let you know more about the meaning and the purpose. Check it out. 10 minutes, that's laughable. Look, we're on 27 and a half so far. It's just so easy to overrun. Right, Dan and Carol, I'm just going to put this slide up, mute everybody's mic, but would you mind sticking around for a second afterwards?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. I'll mute, and we'll see. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Yeah, there's something to that. Merry Christmas and happy New Year.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, thank you.
All of you that are celebrating, of course.
Yes. Thank you very much. Right, let's see you later.
Yes.